your treasure is, there too your heart shall also be. Because it's in the chest. Duh. It's where you put treasure. A. As A has a point to it, to C would be H is unity. Unity to you both ways, to I see, all in key. All in key would be all in keel. Even keel would be even footing. So sort of like your presence, or your aura, your presence, presence. To wrap it would be to put a bow on it. To bow it would be to arc it. To arc it, well, let's look at bow, right? When you fire an arrow, the order of the command given would be to loose the arrow. To loose means to release, to let loose. When you loosen a lantern key, you brighten the light. To loosen means to brighten. That's why, like, for instance, like the word Lucifer. Loose, light bringer, light. Loose means light. So to light it, to fire it is to gun it. To gun it is to punch it, is to step on it. You see the correlation between these things, they tie in. Eritinalantia paralurantis interiantur. C, as in SI, which is yes. Yes to to Y. Yes to question. The question asked is yes. It's yes. Yes. Y is. The question is yes. Y S. Y S. Y S. Y S. S is the sneaky snake. To slither on through is to show it. As to is to hide it. Is to see. Is to wear. Is to wire. Is to current see. To tie it and to tear. To soralantu foralantis into faranuraki. To Jesus. To Jesus. To see Z Taraquentos. Tala, 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 tala. Taylor, Taylor, Tura, Tura, Bala, Bala, Bora, Bora. Laracintio varaturintias, Centurion varalurantai. Z. L. Again, it's 3 o'clock. That's what the L shows. The L shows that it is, again, sort of like picture a right angle, 90 degrees. So it's giving you quite a bit of information in just that one letter. It's giving you an angle. It's giving you a temperature. It's giving you a time. It's giving you a lot of information. There's a lot to unpack in each letter. They have to be read by the stories they tell. To open a letter is to see what is contained, which is why to envelop something is to contain it. To contain it, to contain it, to contain it, to contain it, to contain not, to contain not, to can, 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 to kin, to Taurus mandolin to playin, onto tulin into sayin, onto waradorin, onto varalanta lorin, into L. L would be that 90-degree angle, that 3 o'clock position. That would be east, right? On the compass it would be north, north, because the The north is extended beyond, so it'd be emphasis on north. It'd be north, northeast. It's a bearing. See, a bearing would be something that helps you turn a wheel. Like, I thought it was interesting to find out that like most, like on modern tanks and older tanks, the chassis is the part that drives. It's got like the tracks on it. Um, the turret, it's the part with the gun that can turn around. The turret on most tanks is just sitting there. It's very heavy, so it's not going to fall off or bump off or anything like that. It's very heavy, but it's just kept in place by its own sheer weight. And the way that it turns around is by right, just like a turning chair. You know, like when it squeaks like that, it's because the bearings are squeaking, right? Like, actually, in this case, it's the joints, but sometimes you get a squeaky bearing. You better check that because it means you need to have your bearings replaced on a vehicle. If not, the damage can be catastrophic. The reason the squeaky wheel gets the grease is because if the squeaky wheel's telling you something. The squeaky wheel's telling you something is broken. And a squeaky wheel is one thing, but a broken wheel, especially if you're traveling at high speeds, is absolutely detrimental. So detrimental, dead, true, dead, try, yeah, yeah. It's a way to lose. It's a way to lose. Pot. P to O. Well, the letter P would be like I see from a position of authority. It'd be like a high tower, like an eye tower, like a watchtower, all along the watchtower, all along the watchtower. And so like T would be high tower. Uh, it's an old colloquial expression. It's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and people will say that, and like the spoiled kid always gets what they want. Like that's sort of that's sort of what it infers. Squeaky wheel gets the grease would be like you're paying more attention to them just because they're louder. And I guess what I was trying to say is there's a reason why they're louder in such a case. I mean, to squeak is to say, it's to make a sound. It's a response to something. I'm trying to answer that question. It seems pretty emphatic. But I'm not trying to imply that one person or another in particular is a squeaky wheel. I'm trying to say that wheels spin better when they're not squeaking. They have less resistance when they're well lubricated. When we're talking about a mechanical process here, it's one of those things that we have to keep in mind. We have to keep in mind that our mind operates through mechanical process as well as, well, I'm going to backtrack. It's all mechanical process, period. Um, that's the nature of nature. It's one thing causes another thing, which has a series of cause and effects unto itself. I got called an old coot by a very old man the other day. That was interesting. He called me an old coot. And, since recent changes, I get called old pretty often by people that I don't really appear to be much older than, and that's been interesting. Try to take myself back out of this thing here real quick. Um, Eritanalantere kantia parature entere aradnurantere se intere tarakin tarasin tarasin tell the sin tell the lie tell the lead tell the lead, tell the lead, tell the, tell the past, tell the dead, tell the dead, tell the wall, tell the dead, tell the debt, the debt, the debt. Debit, 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 how you steer. Yeah, you use debt. You can control people by leveraging their debt. Their debt is the fulcrum that's used to lever whole populations as well as individual like the book Divik Divik the Barak Hindos the Barak the Barak the Barak the Barak. Well, I mean every treasure is guarded by, you know, some sort of creature, and so when we go into our own selves and we discover aspects of ourselves that maybe were stored away, sometimes they're guarded by a part of ourselves that's a little scary, maybe a lot scary. Depends on our reaction to it, our response. I mean, the way that we respond to things that we don't understand is not always the most compassionate, and that's understandable. Especially with compassion, we can understand that about other people. Turka Cynthia Baralanturs inter Varanorantis Acapura Acapura Acapar two Acapar Sol Acapar tin Acaparatal. So Aka AKKA refers to water. The seas. The seas. It's a very similar word to like mar or myrrh. And myrrh are myrrh are more. A docket, a locket. Because you lock your armor into place, you would hear it. Like when you tie off a ship at dock, the ship is now more, right? It has now become a structure that is not just adjacent to, but is now tied on to the existing structure of the dock, right? Or the moor, in this case. Interesting. Getting a real picture there. So, you know, again, so like when the ship would dock at the moor, it would dock, the people would get off, they would talk. That dock, that moor, would allow them access to much more. And all of that would be in store. It would be in the storefronts. It would be in the storage. It would be stowed. It would be stowed below the deck. It would be like the cargo. The cargo, because it's transport. A port would be a place to enter. Tying it all together, it is just to mount to something, man. It's just language. It's just words. And yet, those things have always been much more than we've been led to believe. So just take back what's yours, you know, like what's your birthright, what's in your sinew, and try not to be a piece of shit while doing it. You know, because you know the wheat kernels, the salvageable grains, much like the salvageable brains, they'll fall and hit a firm foundation. The chaff, they get blown away. I'm probably gonna leave it there.